the founder and host of ShipShape TV, John Grabiscus.
Our task this time at ShipShape TV is to redeck John Kriska's pontoon boat. Hey, welcome back. We're now in Weston, Florida, which is just a little bit west of the Fort Lauderdale area. And where we're at is a company called Bogantec Marine. And who we have on the program is the distributor here in the United States. This is Jeff Davies from World Panel Products.
Hey, John.
It's great to have you back on the program.
Thank you. Good to be here.
There are a lot of choices for decking on a boat. And in a pontoon boat, I mean, you know, what we've done is we've kind of removed the decking material. John asked us to remove the furniture from the boat. He also asked us to remove the carpeting from the craft. And he's put down some new plywood as a substrate. And what I wanted to get into is I wanted to kind of explain options that boaters have for decking, especially if they're price conscious. All right?
Okay.
Can we get into some of the benefits of a real teak deck with caulking and some of the downsides? What's the benefit of taking a barefoot and walking on real wood?
On real wood, it's going to be cooler underfoot than a plastic product. That's always the case, okay? The content inside wood will automatically cool it from the sun, as opposed to walking on a plastic floor, you're going to burn your feet.
Some of the downsides to real teak is it weathers, okay, pretty rapidly. There's a lot of maintenance involved if you do have a teak cockpit. Like on my 57-foot Monterey, we have a teak and caulk cockpit.
Yep.
And we're constantly having to clean it from weathering because show like brown teak over
Right.
here, okay? That's like new. Think of that as new.
Day one. That's day one, John, right there on
Okay.
a typical boat for real teak, okay? After just a few months, though, the color will gradually fade to a silver or a gray look. If you want to maintain the luster of real teak, you've got to sand it down and put a teak oil on there, and that's a constant job. And of course, don't forget, every time you sand it, you're going thinner and thinner on the thickness of teak you've got there.
What would it run a consumer to maybe install if they want, because you sell it, to install real teak with the caulking?
By the time you're done on a boat, and just depending on some of the cuts and sizes, John, you're looking at about $200 a square foot for real teak.
What is this Bogantec? What is this material made from?
40% wood, 60% PVC.
Why that combination?
Well, it brings the advantages of wood, which is it has that cooling underfoot, and the PVC gives it the stability. The panel isn't going to move on the boat. It's going to be very stable.
How much fading will we get with this Bogantec decking on our boats?
You're not going to believe this, John, but they did some tests. After 5 years, you lose only 2% of the color.
So it's nominal.
Practically zero.
Practically zero.
Yep.
Okay, great. Does it stain? I've seen with some of these flexible type of teak and caulking looking like decks out there, I've heard that there are staining issues. Does this Bogantec stain?
Some of the pure PVC ones will. They're the ones that are more price conscious, but this doesn't because it's sealed on the face, okay? So you're not going to get staining. And if you do drop anything like red wine on there, just warm soap and water will take it right out.
What would a consumer expect to pay installed per square foot on the Bogantec?
Under 60 bucks.
Okay, so it's a huge difference.
Big difference.
In price. Now, Jeff, you carry all the different decking products, and no matter what you want, at home or for your boat, how do people get a hold of World Panel?
Easy, John. Our website is worldpanel.com. We have 2 locations, one in the Outer Banks in North Carolina and one in South Florida.
Well, right now we're going to take a very short time out, but keep it right here because we're going to get into an installation on a pontoon boat right after this.
ShipShape TV will be right back.
What you're looking at, John, this is a 20 by 8 foot panel, Bogantec panel.
This is what we're going to be putting onto the sub deck of John Kriska's boat.
Yes, sir.
Hey, welcome back. We're now in the assembly area here at Bogantec Marine in Weston, Florida. And who we have on the program is one of the higher-ups in management here. This is Jesus Sanguinetti. And Jesus, this is apparently 100% American-made. Jeff Davies was talking about that. But I'm noticing that there are like 2-inch wide strips that are getting caulked together. Does it come to you in 2-inch wide strips, or do you have to do something?
Actually, the way it comes is a 12 by 1 plank, and we have to take it to a CNC router and cut 2 dimensions.
Okay, that's the machine right back behind us. And guys, how a CNC routing machine works is they'll use air and vacuum, and they'll hold the material down, and then the router bit will actually cut the pieces. But these planks, I'm noticing, are much thicker than the actual decking that we're going to be installing to John Kriska's boat. How do you thin it out?
Well, actually, the plank comes in 2 facials. They have 2 faces. So what we do, we divide those 2 faces with a saw, and we cut that in half.
Okay,
and
with the use of like a bandsaw or something like that.
A bandsaw, And then we take it to a planer. So the planer will actually reduce the material to the right dimension.
Okay, so you plane the material, and take a look at how symmetrical these planks are here, okay? How do you hold those lines as you're actually gluing them together?
We actually have a special assembly, tables, and we also do acrylics where we put all the pieces together. We put spacers in between, then remove the spacers, and then apply our silicone glue, marine grade glue.
Now this would be the same type of glue that they would use on a traditional teak and holly cockpit or something like that. This is silicone, it's marine grade, it expands, it contracts, and what tool would you use to put the glue in?
And here done, we actually apply the silicone in every single strip and let it dry.
How long does it take for the adhesive to actually
Between
set
48 to 36 hours to dry.
Okay, so you're going to have to clean up the excess adhesive, the excess silicone, if you will, and pretty much
it's ready to go.
What size panels can you make for people at home?
We can do 8x4s, you can find 8x4, and you can do 12x4, and we can even go even bigger than that.
Okay, this is obviously much bigger. This is 20 foot by 8 foot.
We can custom make.
Okay, so here we have the panel. Right over there is John Kriska's substrate on the pontoon boat. Get us through the process. How are we going to install this to the boat today?
Well, with all my guys' hands, we're going to take all the panel to the boat and cut every single side to dimensions. We got to make sure that, left side is cut properly. Then we come to the right side, cut it with a hand router.
Okay.
And then all the, the back and front of the boat.
Sure, you're going to have to cut out for the well and everything else.
Absolutely.
Now, do you use the same adhesive that you use as the caulking here to glue it down to the deck, the substrate?
We do.
Okay, you do. Okay, so you have to spread out the glue over the entire surface of the pontoon boat, and then the whole crew is going to have to kind of pick this up.
3 guys are going to be applying all the glue, and those particular panels, we got 3 panels basically divided there. We apply the glue, the 3 guys come back, and then we put the floor on top.
Okay, so you professionally apply it here in the shop. You make standard sizes for do-it-yourselfers to maybe do this project at home. Does Jeff Davies at World Panel, does he also carry the adhesive, the special glue to actually put it down to the boat? He does.